Here's the reality of the market today. Everyone wants to own a piece of Apple. It's the gold standard of corporate excellence, a fortress in every sense of the word. But as a disciplined long-term investor, I have learned one lesson the hard way. You can buy a great company and still make a terrible investment if you pay the wrong price. Why am I looking at this stock today? First off, because a viewer asked for it, but also because Apple represents the formula for the ultimate quality play in my framework. But it is currently the victim of its own success. My thesis is simple. Apple is a phenomenal business, one of the best on the planet. But today's market is asking us to pay for years of future growth up front. While I recognize the quality, I'm keeping my cash on the sidelines. I'm not avoiding it because I think the business is failing. I am waiting because I refuse to buy any company at an irrational price. Before we dive into Apple's specific numbers, we have to look at the world they're operating in. We're currently in a high-stakes tech landscape, defined by the AI arms race. The broader technology sector is trading at multiples we haven't seen in years, driven by belief that artificial intelligence will revolutionize every single device we touch. But here's what this means for your money. The easy money in mega-cap tech has already been made for this cycle. The industry setup is one where investors are rewarding safe havens. In a world of geopolitical uncertainty and fluctuating interest rates, Apple has become the digital gold. When the market gets scared, people buy Apple. This has already created a crowded trade where the valuation has been pushed up higher, leaving very little room for error if the global economy hitches a ride on a recessionary wave. I see a sector that is priced for perfection, and Apple is one of the companies leading that charge. When I audit Apple through my system, the results are nothing short of elite. In my research, I define quality as firms that are profitable, safe, and growing. Let's look at profitability. Apple's return on equity is currently hovering in the triple digits, around 150%. An astronomical figure that almost no other company in the S&P 500 can match. This tells me they're incredibly efficient at turning shareholder capital into pure profit. Next, we can look at safety. They're sitting on a net cash position in the tens of billions. This is a fortress balance sheet. In our framework, safety means having a low required return because the risk of bankruptcy or distress is virtually zero. Finally, let's look at growth. While iPhone sales can be lumpy, their services revenue, things like App Store and iCloud, is growing at a double-digit clip, with margins that are already twice as high as their hardware. Look, Apple is the definition of a high-quality security, one that investors should be willing to pay a higher price for. However, even high-quality stocks have a limit. This brings me to a broader lesson on patience. In your 20s and 30s, the urge to do something with your money is overwhelming. You see a stock like Apple moving up, and you feel like you're missing out. This FOMO is the single greatest enemy of wealth. Real investing isn't about getting in the hottest names in the market at all times. It's about waiting for the fat pitch. Just because Apple is a quality company doesn't mean it's a quality investment right now. Discipline means having the emotional strength to watch a great company go up without you because it doesn't meet your price criteria. Remember, you don't get paid for the excitement of the trade. You get paid for the safety of your entry point. Now, to understand if Apple is truly a temporary discount, we have to look at its peers. Microsoft. While Apple dominates the consumer pocket, Microsoft dominates the enterprise desk. Microsoft often trades at a similar premium valuation, but their growth is driven by recurring software as a service and cloud infrastructure. Both are quality kings, but Microsoft currently has a slightly clearer path to AI-driven revenue growth in the short term. Samsung is also a competitor. This is the hardware comparison. Samsung often trades at a fraction of Apple's valuation, often in the single digits or low double digits. Why? Because they lack the moat of the iOS ecosystem. Samsung sells hardware. Apple sells a lifestyle and a toll booth service. This is why Apple deserves a premium, but not an unlimited one. Now, why could this go to zero? Well, for Apple, zero is almost impossible, but a 50% haircut is not. you have to respect the risk. First risk is the China trap. Nearly 20% of Apple's revenue is tied to the Greater China. If geopolitical tensions lead to a ban or a significant consumer boycott, that is a massive hole in the earnings that cannot be easily filled. Second is a regulatory risk. Governments around the world are attacking the Apple tax, the 30% Apple Store fee. If they lose this high-margin revenue stream, the quality of their earnings drops significantly. Finally, a valuation reset. Historically, the price of quality varies. If the market decides that it only wants to pay 20 times earnings for Apple instead of 34, the stock price drops 40%, even if the business remains perfect. That is the valuation trap. So here's what I'm doing personally. My mean reversion targets are clear, but I also want to state that I do not have a position in Apple, and at this time it is not on my radar for a purchase. That said, if I was watching Apple, my buy target would be between $240 and $250. Why? This price would bring the valuation back toward its 5-year historical average and offer a better entry point near the current 200-day moving average. Right now, Apple is in the wait-and-see zone. I'm going to actually stand by and watch, and wait for the market to see if it'll give me a better deal before I would consider adding this to my portfolio. I look for quality companies at temporary discounts, and right now the discount is missing. Over the next 5 years, I expect Apple to perform roughly in line with the S&P 500. Because it is starting at such a high valuation today, I think the multiple expansion phase of its story is over for now. Future returns will have to come from actual earnings growth and buybacks, not from the stock getting more expensive. It will remain a foundational asset, but it won't be the alpha generator it was over the last decade unless we get a significant price correction first. That'll be it for this video. If you like this type of content, find it helpful, I'd appreciate it if you would like it to help me push this out to more people. I am a small creator with limited reach. Also, please consider subscribing. I put out a couple of these each week, and I'm always open to suggestions for other stocks or topics that we may want to investigate. Please put them in the comments. That said, I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.